I'm AgroBlaze96.
And I'm the Woodshed, and welcome to the AgroShed Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the AgroShed Podcast. This is episode 15, I think. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Tonight, we are doing the NFL. We've been on kind of a sports trend, and so I think we're going to kind of stick with that. I think this is probably going to be one of the last sports episodes we'll do for a while. I don't know, Kyle, you do. I was like, I'm kind of assuming. So with that in mind, if you guys want us to transition into another direction, let us know in the comments down below. We'd absolutely love. You can hear Riot chilling in the background, Kyle's son. What's he doing? Is he just chilling in his pack and play?
Yeah, he's just chilling in his playpen.
We watching Fruits, or what are we doing over there?
No, he's watching Miss Rachel. Shout out. Then it's like a girl who goes on the TV and just tries to teach him things, which is good because I can't. I'm not done. So
valid.
I can pretend it's educational, make me feel less bad about it myself.
Hashtag sponsored by Miss Rachel. I'm just kidding. Legally, that's not true. Anyway, so Kyle, go ahead.
What sense of the word is that true?
Yeah. Well, anyway, hit us with what's on the agenda tonight. What do we got going on tonight?
First of all, episode 16, not 15. This is 16.
Close enough.
And like he said, let us know in the comments below what you guys want to see us do next. If not, we'll transition back to some other gaming stuff. We'll do something else. God only knows. Maybe we'll do some trolling stuff and some co-op games like we did on episode 10 with Carly.
That could be pretty fun.
We'll just let that be a fun thing for you guys to watch. Who knows, though? We'll see. Let us know, please. We're more than happy to take suggestions.
I just had an idea. I'm going to share with you after that we record, but I just had an idea.
Yeah, just put your dick out in the water for them. Tease them, not me. It's a little bait, guys. A little bait.
Facts. Big facts.
Anyway, so yeah, we're doing the NFL, right? The reason we're doing this, I'm going to apologize to all of our soccer fans or football for those of you who are overseas that we're not really going to do soccer. Neither one of us know jack shit about soccer, really. So
Ted Lasso. We're talking about practice. Fucking love Ted Lasso.
He knows a little bit because he watched Ted Lasso. For Christ's sakes, but we don't really know anything.
Just trying to say Ted Lasso.
I am I had a 10-hour day today, bro.
You see what soccer does to people? This is what you all want.
That's right. So we're gonna stick with football for now. If you guys want to, be more than happy to make an ass of each other. But we're gonna talk about football. We're gonna talk about our backgrounds a little bit. Zach, do you have any background in football? Do you want to do kind of the same thing we did baseball? Did you play? Favorite team?
Yeah, so
like that.
I played football as a kid. I think I played like 2 years of football, something like that when I was a kid. I don't know. We talked about this in baseball. I didn't like getting hit by the ball. I didn't like getting hit by people either. It's like, who the fuck would want to get hit by people? But anyway, I played football I played football a couple of years growing up, like nothing serious. I was never great. I was never going to be like, the next Tom Brady or anything. Just what it is. Went out for the high school football team my freshman year. And it was like one of those things where it was a Remember the Titans thing where if you showed up, you got on the team. But like we went to like 2 practices and I don't know, wasn't vibing. Wasn't having it. Was cutting into my Call of Duty time. So I didn't play football when I was in high school. And yeah, like other than that, like just let's see. Growing up, my parents were big Patriots fans. So I was adopted into like being a Tom Brady fan. I like Tom Brady a lot, whatever. But I don't really have a team, to be honest. I just kind of like betting on NFL and I just kind of like playing fantasy football, but I don't really have a favorite team anymore. Like I just NFL's like there for the vibes, I'll pull for the Packers because Carly's a big Packers fan, but other than that, it's just football's a vibe. That's it for me.
Anyway. That's more than fair, right? I'm kind of in the same boat. I used to be a big fan of players, and now there's not a lot of players I really like, so I don't have a favorite football team per se. If I have to pick one, I'm picking the Titans because I'm being a homer.
Okay, sure, I'm here for that.
That's not a ride or die. That's just if I'm picking a team,
yeah,
whatever. Thanks, Will Levis, for probably another crappy season. I hope you prove me wrong though. I also only played for a couple of years, but I only played in high school.
Yeah.
When if you guys watched the last episode, when I quit playing baseball, I basically went into football very shortly there afterwards in the next year or so. I was always big growing up, so people always said you should play football. You should play football. I didn't even like football as a kid. I wanted to play baseball.
Yeah.
And then I made a bet with a buddy of mine, and we made an agreement. And he held up his end, so I played football my sophomore year in high school as a offensive lineman. I shed like 40 pounds. I played spring
Nice.
football,
Okay.
and I was not again offensive lineman. I was a tackle. I was a left tackle. I played spring football for a half a season or almost a full season, something like that.
Okay.
Because of when it started cutting into like summer camp and stuff like that towards the end. And I played center and I played tight end because again I was smaller, I was 190, 200 pounds probably by that time.
Okay.
And then I started playing in junior year, and then I quit somewhere in the middle of junior year because I was a 200 to 210 pound offensive lineman.
Okay.
For a very high ranking high school that probably like 5 or 6 years before me, we had won a state championship.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I was too fucking small. I was like fourth string left tackle, despite being like one of the stronger guys because I was a big gym guy. You know how I still am. I was just a big gym guy. Oh, that gives me an idea for an episode.
Okay. All right. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
But so I have some experience. I was a big fan of playing tight end. I was a sub running back for a couple practices. That was a blast. Too fucking big for that. Way too fucking slow, by the way.
All right.
We'll tell some stories about that anyway. But yeah, so that's my background. Also, love Tom Brady. As he got older and retired, was a fan. My family was all Peyton Manning fans, Colts fans.
Yep.
So I was, as the opposite of Zack, I was a contrarian. So I was molded into the darkness.
I see.
You merely adopted the darkness. It's one of those deals.
I was born in it. Mold.
That's right. I was born in it. Give me a glass. Where's a glass? I don't got a glass over here. Anyway. So yeah, that's all I got. Oh no, I was also a big Broncos fan growing up. Because Tim Tebow, Peyton Manning did go there eventually, but I was a big Champ Bailey, Brian Dawkins fan towards the end of their careers. They sat down there. Love those two.
I mean, Tim Tebow's the truth, dude. Love Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, got so much hate, and he was just a decent human being. God forbid.
No, I know. It was crazy.
But anyway, and we'll talk more about people like that. Speaking of which, he was always one of my biggest. Like, he was obviously talented, right? Coming out of Florida, won a championship, right? NCAA championship, won a Heisman. At the time, right? I think the youngest guy to win a Heisman at the time.
Yep.
At the time,
sophomore. He was the only sophomore to ever do it.
Now it's like every year it's always a freshman now. But he was the first sophomore.
Yeah.
And so there was always a talk about he had so much talent, right, coming out of college.
Yep.
But I want to talk about other people we think have a talent, like what if players.
Okay.
You see, I want to say that obviously NFL's known for early retirements, right?
Sure.
Kuechly, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Guys like that. Andrew Luck. Who do you think's the biggest what if? Who do you think would have had the best career had they not retired early for whatever reason?
I mean, like, had they not retired early, like, can we take that a step further? Like, not just retirement, but like, if you also get like, I think like Calvin Johnson's the one that comes to mind off the top of my head. Because he did retire young. I watched him play at Georgia Tech. He was an absolutely phenomenal, almost won the Heisman. I mean, not really, but kind of. When he was at Georgia Tech as a wide receiver, which is like almost unheard of. And then had this phenomenal career where they could never build a team around him and Matthew Stafford to save their lives on the Lions for God only knows how many freaking years. So I think if you take out the early retirement and like give him a longer career, and then on top of that, you give like the Lions, organization, the people that run it, a fucking brain to do anything with over the course of those few years, then I think you put together like a real Super Bowl winning team there. Like probably even like honestly like a dynasty to some extent, like if I'm just being honest. Because I think Megatron was that good. Like Calvin Johnson was like the fucking truth of wide receivers. So like I think
Calvin Johnson your pick?
Yeah, Calvin Johnson by far, in my opinion.
So I don't even want to say if you give him a team. I say if you give them the coach they have now. Who's their coach? Is it Matt Patricia? Is that their coach?
Yeah.
The guy that's like fourth and whatever, fuck it. Calvin Johnson's got like
Dan
imagine
Campbell.
if they just had
Matt Patricia was the Bears coach. Dan Campbell. That's his
Thank
name.
you, Dan
Yeah.
Campbell. I'm so sorry, Mr. Campbell.
It's 4th and
Didn't
87. Well, let me tell you, I'm Dan. Balls too big, Campbell. We're fucking going for it.
especially like imagine if you give him Matt Stafford with that cannon of an arm plus Calvin Johnson, who like
Oh,
literally was the definition of the start of the meme of fuck it, he's over there somewhere. It doesn't
100%.
matter. I think doing that, let alone, would have made their career so much better because
Oh,
just the
yeah.
play calling and the faith at that point. I mean, they had some decent receivers too. I think at one point, I don't know if they were together. They had Golden Tate there.
Yeah, he
I think that
was.
was towards the end of the Megatron era, or it was just afterwards. So I apologize if it was after, but
I think they overlapped. And like, honestly, like, if you give them a coach like Dan Campbell, like, honestly, I think we're having a different conversation about Matt Stafford. Like, Matthew Stafford
yeah,
is, like, still a great quarterback, in my opinion. You know, left, went to the Rams or whatever, and, like, won a Super Bowl the next year. But, like,
yep.
I think, if I'm being honest, over the course of Megatron and that, I think they win 2 Super Bowls with a good coach.
Wow, two.
Yeah,
You
I'm
didn't give them
dead,
dose.
dead ass, bro. I think they win 2.
Now, there's obviously a lot that goes into that more than just a coach and two really good players, but
Sure, yeah.
you know, I don't hate that. Imagine if there was a Matthew Stafford and a Megatron now, right? Like how unstoppable that team would be.
Oh my god, dude. I mean, like, no disrespect to like Jared Goff, but like, bro, if like they had even like one of the tools from this team, and if you take Dan Campbell, like the defense they have, and one more offensive tool, I'm telling you, they win at least 2 Super Bowls with Matthew Stafford and Megatron.
I don't hate that take. I am going to go a different what if take though,
Okay.
because I think Calvin Johnson was an easy one, but I'm going to say Andrew Luck.
Oh,
Um,
dude,
retired
robbed
so
of the
early.
Heisman.
He was the replacement to Peyton Manning, and he slid into that spot so well.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just never properly taken care of. And he was still like a 12-4, 13-3.
Yeah.
And he was so smart, and you could just tell. And you could tell now too, right? Like he'll do like I don't know if he does casting, but he does like little interviews and stuff like that. You can just
Yeah,
tell it's like
sure.
Jesus, this guy went to Stanford not because he was so damn good at football. This guy was the smartest fucker in that room as far as football IQ goes. He was just so smart,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel so bad for him that the Colts robbed him of a potentially Hall of Fame career because he's one of those guys who'll be like, oh my god, you know, he would have been if nothing else, he'd have been Josh Allen, right?
I 100% agree.
And that's like
The floor.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
that's the floor of this
the
conversation.
best we're talking about, you know, Peyton Manning with 3 or 4 Super Bowls instead of 2, right? That's
He had no protection. Like and when I say no protection, I'm not shitting on the offensive line, although like, but I'm not. I'm just saying
yeah,
like,
Jeff Saturday, and I think that was the size of it.
yeah, like
And that was on
the organization didn't take care of him at all. And like Andrew Luck was
yeah.
great. And you know, like, and I know that like when they drafted him, everybody lost their minds because Peyton Manning was like, I'm not grooming the person to take over for me. Like that's not
Yeah.
happening or whatever. And like he left because he was mad or whatever. But like I just like Andrew
He got
Luck
cut before they drafted him, remember?
yeah, something like that. But like I just remember like Andrew Luck was like I don't know, like I thought great things were coming for him and like for his career to be cut so short was so sad. Like I don't know. I always loved Andrew Luck because I mean like
And I can't
he was a machine.
and I don't blame him because I don't want to sit there and just get my ass beat by a 350-pound grown man all day.
Absolutely.
I don't blame him. And he
Absolutely.
wouldn't get paid enough to do that.
Yeah.
um,
I think we should do an honorable mention, and you talked about this earlier, and like we'll just like quickly here, but Luke Kuechly. Like
yeah.
stand out at Carolina, amazing, great defensive player, Luke Kuechly, like it's shame.
And the reason that he's not going to be mentioned is because he played for the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, pour one out
Right.
for Luke Kuechly. Like
Luke Kuechly, and because he's a defensive player, he doesn't get that love either. But he was
100%.
phenomenal. So
Yep.
he's that's just to mention him, just because respect to him, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So we talked about tons of talent, right? Because those guys were all loaded. I mean, put those 3 on the same team together for Christ's sake. Just imagine something like that.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about somebody that maybe was pretty talented but didn't get to show it. Who would you say is your most underrated player?
Underrated player?
Mm-hmm. Somebody who you think doesn't get near the credit they deserve.
Donovan McNabb.
Really?
Yeah, Donovan McNabb was phenomenal, and I think he played a great role in Philadelphia. He was a great quarterback. You know, maybe didn't have like as much legs as I think people wanted him to. But you know, like he had a fucking cannon, and like he was a great quarterback. And I think growing up in the early 2000s, Donovan McNabb gets more disrespect than he should because I think he was a great quarterback at just like at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like,
Okay.
so yeah, I think Donovan McNabb's very underrated personally.
I think that's not a bad shot at all, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think that's pretty decent. As far as underrated players go, because this is such a tricky one, right? Because there's so many. If you're halfway decent, somebody's going to give you a chance, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You'll get your chance. So I'm gonna go. I got two. Somebody who's now becoming. I don't want to say he is, but is becoming criminally underrated because of his supporting cast is Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's wicked talented and hasn't lived up to it, partially because of his surrounding cast.
Sure.
Mainly not getting used properly, either rather it's by Atlanta or the quarterback not being able to get on the ball. Um,
I mean, yeah, he's he's a disappointing one to draft every season somehow, which is crazy because
yeah.
every year I walk myself into the same trap.
I debate doing it every year too, and I'm like, no, I couldn't. That's
Well, you
and it
did
makes
one
me so
year,
sad.
and like I remember, like we had this conversation because I took him last year, and you were like, "Listen, you know what you're signing yourself up for," and I was like, "This is the year, Kyle," and you were
I
like,
couldn't do it again.
every year we
I
say this, Zach."
couldn't do it again. I couldn't do it because he's obviously very talented, right?
Sure, 100%.
And another one, and this is going to sound wild because this is a fantastic player, but I think he's probably the best at his position, and he's widely regarded probably number 2 or number 3, and that kind of depends on who you are. It's Randy Moss. I think
Interesting.
Randy Moss is the best receiver the NFL's ever seen, individually,
ever.
talent-wise, single season. Yeah, Jerry Rice be damned.
Okay.
Respect to Jerry Rice. Fantastic. Probably deserves a top 3 spot. Jerry Rice was not a dominant player. He was Mr. Consistent. He was fantastic.
Sure.
But he played for 45 years. He was the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the NFL.
Okay.
He took advantage of some really nice systems, prolonged his career, made his numbers look borderline impossible to catch.
Okay.
Randy Moss said, fuck it. Throw me the ball. I mean, there's a whole thing named after him mossing somebody.
Yeah, no, listen, I understand. I hear you. And like, listen, I watched him and Tom Brady set the record for most touchdowns caught by a receiver, which I think is still held by him in a season, right? At 25.
I believe it is.
I know Tom Brady's record of passing touchdowns in a season got taken over.
I think it got broke that year. I don't think he got to keep it for very long.
Yeah, but like
Manny owns the single season record now for touchdowns.
Yeah, because he had 50 that year, and Randy Moss caught half of them in one fucking season.
Something like that. Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
It was something stupid though.
It was crazy.
And that was just the definition of just seeing what happens if you give him a good quarterback, right? Imagine if you gave him a gunslinger like Brett Favre or Peyton Manning, right? Who could just give him the ball.
Okay.
But those two were ruthless. So people are going to crucify me for thinking Randy Moss was underrated. I just think he deserves that consideration for number 1 spot more than he gets credit for, because it's accumulation of numbers is really the difference here.
Sure. I think
I
think there's a lot of people who are our age who grew up watching Randy Moss who probably share that opinion with you, who were like, Randy Moss like changed the game in a lot of ways, like at wide receiver position. And so I think there's a lot of people that feel that way, but I think there's probably like, like a lot of like, old heads who like, watch Jerry Rice play and like probably feel like, like, I mean, to be fair, there is something to be said for having that consistent of a career for that long. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
But you're not putting on the dominance that like Randy Moss did.
Yeah. And I look at it like almost like I look at the Jordan LeBron thing, right?
Okay.
Now, the difference here is that LeBron was the one that had the super long career, super high consistency.
Sure.
Jerry Rice had the super long career, a lot of consistency, and played against plumbers. Michael Jordan played against plumbers. Jerry Rice played against plumbers. Randy Moss just didn't have that consistency, though. He played for the Raiders at some point. He played for the Titans.
Yep.
When was the last good Raiders quarterback? I don't know him either. So that's just my take, right?
Next underrated player, Derek Carr.
Derek.
I'm just fucking with you because you did the Raiders.
He retired too, man. I actually did like Derek Carr, just not that much.
I felt.
So we're gonna go now. We're gonna talk about some of the greatest of all time. We've talked about the biggest what ifs.
Okay.
talked about some of the most talented and some of the most underrated players. And I think it's pretty commonly agreed upon. Tom Brady is probably the greatest of all time, right?
Okay.
No, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I
it's
don't think
it's unquestionable in my opinion.
at this point you can't make an argument otherwise. I don't think, right?
Yep.
But that's only one side of the ball. Who would you say is the defensive greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time defensive.
There's a couple standouts that come to mind. If you want to, I can name a couple for you.
I mean, I don't know. Like when I think of like greatest defensive players of all time, like JJ Watt stands out at me.
Okay.
Troy Polamalu stands out at me.
Okay.
Like those are the two that jump out at me, like off the top of my head. Who are you thinking of?
Let me throw two names at you.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor.
Okay. Yep.
Those are two that you also got to really consider. Lawrence
Yeah.
Taylor probably being the most commonly regarded as
Sure.
the greatest of all time. Um, I didn't think about Troy. Troy is a nice sneaky pull though.
I mean, I like I don't know, man. Like you just
No, buddy, those commercials he did for his bouncing hair.
you watch that Head and Shoulders
I'm in that
shampoo run across
conversation.
the field and just like
Yeah.
knock that ball fucking out of nowhere, dude. Like
Yeah. It's
crazy.
Palamalu. He's in the C gap. It's Palamalu. You know, uh,
Oh man,
shout out to the greatest punter of all time, Pat McAfee. That
bro.
was the great.
Yeah, like I mean, is there
uh,
even a conversation anywhere else? Like greatest, like in my like greatest punter of all time, Pat McAfee. Greatest
mhm.
kicker of all time, Adam Vinatieri. Like I don't think there's a conversation anywhere else.
There's probably a conversation for the kicker, but that's
Sure.
because, people are going to say Justin Tucker because he booted a 155-yard field goal or whatever the hell it was. I
No,
mean,
after you have 16 sexual assault cases against you, no, you can't be the greatest anything of all time.
does he
Here,
have that many cases against him?
it's something.
Damn.
It's like 13 or 15 or something ridiculous. Like it's stupid.
If
It's
I've learned
ridiculous.
anything, 24 is the point.
That's the
Just,
line. That's the
that's.
line.
I'm kidding, by the way. That's a
How'd you
joke for
get
everybody.
canceled?
Got canceled. Yeah, the four people who watch this will. They'll
Diablo
appreciate
will
that.
laugh. Ben will be like, "Wow," and Carly will be like, "What the fuck?"
But yeah, I would. I'd probably say Ray Lewis just because I didn't get to watch LT, and
Okay.
to stay consistent with my old people play plumbers. No disrespect to LT, he probably is the greatest, but I'm gonna say Ray Lewis because I'm gonna let some bias show because he was amazing.
No, I'm here for it. I like it.
Who'd you say? All right, you got to pick one.
I'm gonna go with Troy if I got to pick one. I would say like Troy, like, and that's probably again like my age bias speaking here, but I just like watching that hair run across the field, man. Like as a kid,
No,
like and like when you put like a defensive player with like Roethlisberger like that, like it's a shame they only ever won one.
Speaking of sexual assault charges,
Bro, fucking
um,
next. Let's not do this. Let's not go down this rabbit hole. Next.
another one, just an honorable mention, just because he's one of my favorites is had to make sure Riot was still awake at his playpen. I
No,
think he's
you're
going to
good.
sleep.
Is he big chilling?
He's just big chilling. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
I also want to mention Champ Bailey, my personal favorite.
I kind of figured he would be on your list. I was curious to know how deep he would go because I was like, bro, this is definitely like no disrespect, but I'm like greatest of all time. That's a passion pick in my opinion.
No, and to be fair, right? Like let's keep it real, all right?
Sure.
Cornerbacks get burnt so much that it's almost impossible to pick a cornerback as the greatest defensive player of all time.
I agree.
Because you know what happens to the best cornerbacks? You don't see highlights because people don't throw the fucking ball that way.
Yeah, 100%.
So we don't see a whole lot of Champ Bailey highlights. You know why? There's no fucking ball.
Nobody had the stones to throw it over there.
Right, and if and those who did, a lot of them paid for it.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's a passion pick, right?
Sure.
I think it almost has to be a linebacker.
No,
I think Palamalu, who played a very aggressive safety, is an interesting pick, but not necessarily a bad one. Not one I'm upset about.
Sure.
So we've talked talent, we've talked goats, both side bat. We've talked goats. I want to talk about somebody who's getting there. What do you think about Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, I think it is undoubtedly clear that Patrick Mahomes is on pace to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
what do you think he needs to do to become the greatest of all time? Then?
So as weird as this sounds, even though I think if they keep it up, like if the Andy Reid dynasty continues in Kansas City, they will probably pass Tom Brady's like record, of like rings or
Yeah.
whatever. Because it's what, 7? Brady has 7, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. And like what Pat has 3
I think so.
so far, like 3 in like 6 years or something like that. Like this, or 3 in 6 years or 7 years, like this unfucking heard
Something
of
like
thing.
that.
It's ridiculous.
Mhm.
And so that's like crazy to me. But I mean, yeah, like to keep doing it, the highlights are there, right? The highlights and the flashy, like I'm falling down like this fucking sidearm crazy ass shit is all there. All of that's already there. I think what you need to see more of is the like total team cohesion, if that makes any sense. Like I don't feel like he's the person leading the team, if that
Yeah.
if that makes any sense, because like
Yeah.
Tom Brady commanded the fucking field, and I don't get that from Patrick yet. And
Yeah.
I feel like he's maybe a little young. He's trying to come into it, kind of thing. So I feel like we're just like we're having to like lean into that and learn that a little bit, because I didn't feel like Tom Brady was that way when I was growing up. Like I don't really feel like he became like
Mhm.
the field general until he got older. So
Well, and
I think he's got to lean into being more of a field general. Is like his next big step.
obviously he needs to at least tie the ring count, right? I think we're probably in agreement. He needs to, at minimum, if he doesn't, if he ends at 6 and Brady has 7, I'm gonna nod Brady.
It really depends on what the rest of it looks like to me. If
I
he
think
if he doesn't get to 6, there's no conversation. Like if he
I don't
doesn't
think
get to
there's a
6,
conversation unless he ties him, because
mm,
Brady took one from him.
okay, sure. I mean, he took one from him at Tampa Bay, even if he had to call Gronk, right? Or no, was it New England?
No, that
No,
was in Tampa Bay.
yeah, it was in Tampa Bay. Yeah. Like so. I mean, I don't know. Like he gets to 6. I think we're having the conversation if he gets to 6.
I think there's a conversation, but I think for him to get that spot, or for me, for it to be real, he needs to tie the rings. I like the idea that you talk about taking that step as the leader and making it obvious, because like we've all seen the clips of like Peyton Manning going over to his offensive line and throwing the fucking helmet and
Getting
being
in
like,
his face, yeah.
where the fuck? Why are we complaining about pass blocking? We should pass 4 goddamn times. We should be able to get 10 fucking yards. What the fuck is wrong? And just losing it.
Yeah.
And as annoying as you are, if you're those 5 fat guys who are sitting there wheezing, asking for some oxygen, you respect it, right? Tom Brady was the same way, and he did it with some fucking lacrosse players, right?
Truth.
I
Big
mean,
facts,
Tom
dude.
Brady won a ring with guys that looked like you and me.
Wes
right?
Welker,
Like,
bro. Wes Welker. No disrespect, but Wes Welker, bro. Come on now.
short white dude.
Yeah.
Can't believe he made it in the NFL as long as he did.
Edelman, like, come on, dude. Dreams
Julian,
do come true.
That catch in it, and the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history.
It's the amount of things that we could sit here and say, to like kind of stay on topic here a little bit. It's the amount of things that we could sit and say about Tom Brady that make what Patrick has to do so fucking incredible.
Yeah.
If he gets to 8 rings, like, probably not much conversation to be had.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 rings is ridiculous.
That's going to depend a lot on the situations, right? But yeah.
For sure.
I think that's perfectly fair, though. I think that's perfectly fair. Now, what we've all been waiting for, we all knew this was coming. We're doing a fantasy draft.
Oh, let's go. Run it.
So I'm gonna let you know the positions we need really quick.
All right.
We're doing very specific positions.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not a cutaway right there. Definitely not a cutaway. So we're doing the fantasy draft. Same rules as before. We're gonna do a snake order. I think I started last time, so he's gonna start this time.
Yep.
I'll pick 2. He'll pick 2, and we'll go until we're out of positions. Cannot pick the same player.
Yep.
No out of position nonsense. Right. We're gonna be pretty true to position here. Here's what we're requiring, and same thing. I'm going to post this in the comment section below. Feel free. I did it to the MLB one. I did remember this time.
Okay, nice.
It took me a day. I was a day late, but I did remember.
Hey, it's okay. We got there.
So we're gonna do a QB, one quarterback.
Okay, 1 quarterback.
A running back.
1 running back.
a tight end,
Okay.
2 wide receivers.
Okay, I like this.
We're going to do a cornerback,
Okay.
a linebacker,
Okay.
a safety,
Okay.
and a coach.
Okay. I'm here for it.
If you want to make it even, we can do 2 cornerbacks. I
No,
played with
no.
the idea.
No, one corner is good.
I figure, even though it's misnumbered, it gives us a good idea.
Yeah, no, I like this. I think this is good.
So Zach, you are welcome to start.
All right, I'm going to take Tom Brady. Let's just make it easy. Start out with the GOAT.
That's fair. I didn't plan on taking him anyway. Um,
Let's go. I
no,
like it.
I'm just,
I like
I'm
it.
just. He got the greatest position already. I'm gonna go with another easy one. I'm gonna go running back. I'm gonna go Barry Sanders,
Okay. Yep. I'm here for it.
and because just give him the rock, right? Just give it to him.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go tight end. I'm gonna go Tony G.
Interesting.
Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it. I need 2 wide receivers.
2 wide receivers.
We're gonna go back to back. I'm gonna take Randy Moss and Megatron. So let's just go back to back. Let's get the wide receivers out of the way. So I've got the greatest quarterback of all time, and in my
And 2
personal
very
opinion,
nice
the
receivers.
2 best wide receivers of all time.
That's probably fair. So because of that, I'm gonna go cornerback.
Okay.
Um, cornerback I think is gonna be real easy. Because I gotta,
I was
I
like,
got,
bro,
I got to answer. I'm going Darrell Revis.
thought you were gonna take a favorite pick there.
Nope, Revis Island. I got a no
I'm here
fly
for it.
zone.
I'm here for it.
And then I'm gonna go safety.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Ooh, no, I'm not. I'm gonna
He's
go
thinking
Ed
about it.
Reed.
Okay.
Ed Reed safety.
All right, I'm here for that.
What you
Okay.
get next to?
What do I need? What do I need?
You need a cornerback, a linebacker, a safety, and a coach.
What do I need to tie it into?
You need a tight end as well. My bad.
Okay.
Running back, tight end, and then all your defense and a coach.
So linebacker. I'm stuck on 2. I think we'll just take Ray. I think we'll just take Ray Lewis here. I think this is a pretty easy shore up here.
Okay.
And for coaches, I'm gonna take Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
4th and 87. Fuck it. Give Tom Brady the ball, son.
I mean, that's probably pretty fair.
I don't know. I'm here for it. I like Dan Campbell's coaching style. Maybe not be the most cohesive thing I've got for my team so far, but I love Dan
Yeah.
Campbell.
I think that's I don't think that's that far out. So now we're at the spot where we are overlapped absolutely 0 because you thought about this draft and I hate you for it.
Yeah, no, I put that together after last time. I was like, fine.
So let me tell you what. I'm going to
You're gonna take Patrick Mahomes, or you're gonna take John Elway.
John Elway.
Yep, John Elway.
You know what? I'm gonna go receiver. I'm gonna go T.O.
Nice. I like that pick.
I think that's outside of Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. I think he's the third name in that conversation.
I'm here for
most
it.
of the time.
I'm here for it.
And I have to go Jerry Rice just because he's there. I think those are the 3 that stand out the most. So I'm gonna go Jerry Rice next.
Okay.
So I got T.O. and Jerry Rice.
I need a tight end, a running back, a safety, and a corner.
A cornerback and a safety. Yeah.
I'm gonna go tight end. Give me Gronk. Love Gronk. Trying not to go too many people from the same era. Trying not to go Belichick, Brady, and Gronk here.
Yeah.
Running back. Nah, you know what? Let's go safety. Give me Troy. Palalalalamaloo.
Guys, that's not how it's spelled. I'm so sorry in the comment section.
Could be.
It's probably not. Actually, spell check will make it to where it is. Ha ha. All right, so I got 3 more.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run. Hmm. Hmm.
He's thinking. He's in the tank. He's in the tank for all of you on Spotify.
Oh, both of you. I'm so sorry.
Mm.
Um,
Make some villager
stroking my.
noises
Oh
for
my
the
God, it's not an
people.
invisible beard anymore. I'm just stroking my beard
I was
now.
like, yeah, make some villager noises for the people at home.
Huh.
All
Huh. Uh-huh.
right,
Huh.
pick up position. Too many villager noises. Jesus.
Man, too many villager noises. I'm going to. I'm gonna go Vince Lombardi as coach.
Yo, all right, dude.
I'm gonna tip my hat, right?
One
And I'm
hundred
gonna
percent.
go. Huh. So I'm curious, right? Do I go like as far as quarterback goes? Do I go for the pure talent pick, or do I go for the proven pick?
I mean, it's up to you,
And so
man.
because of it, I'm not going to pick either. I'm going to pick Lawrence Taylor as my as my as my tight my fucking linebacker, so I can
Linebacker.
avoid my QB for one more second.
All right, sounds good.
So you're running back and cornerback.
Running back and cornerback. You know what? We're gonna take a little ESPN 30 for 30 joke here. Give me Ed Sherman. Give me the Shermanator at cornerback.
Richard Sherman.
Yeah, Richard Sherman, not Ed Sherman. God Almighty, Richard Sherman at the quarterback.
I was gonna say I don't know who Ed Sherman is, but I'll put him down there. But I
I
tell you
was
what, whoever
like,
my
Kyle's
quarterback
like, what
is,
is this fucking pool? Zach just got out of nowhere.
he's gonna get toasted though. Let me tell you.
Nah, dude, I'm telling you, man, clamps. Richard Sherman, clamps. Running
Rams.
backs.
Mm-hmm.
Running backs. I mean, like, give me Christian McCaffrey.
CMC.
Love CMC, dude. Love CMC.
That's not a bad pick.
I
I don't
mean,
hate
in
that.
the scenario, like all of our players are healthy, so just give me CMC. No injuries. Probably the greatest running back
No.
of all time.
He's still got the thing.
No, no shot.
Uh, so I'm still stuck on right. I don't like Patrick Mahomes, so I'm just not picking him.
Okay,
That's just what we're doing.
let's make it personal. Fuck him. You hear that, Patrick?
I'm going to.
You hear that, Patrick?
And you know what? I'm going to go for just the talent pick. Because I think with this team, I'm picking somebody who could throw 60 yards into the wind. I'm going to go Josh Allen.
I was like, that's the only person I can think of that has an arm like that. I mean, there's others,
Yeah,
but like,
Josh Allen. Pure talent wise, I think there's no conversation.
I kind of figured you were going to take Joe Montana, to be honest.
I thought about it.
Mm.
I thought about it, but I couldn't. Almost took Colin Kaepernick, to be honest with you, but hoping maybe the lights would go out if we were losing and see what would happen. But
Yo, yo,
man, that almost cost Ray Lewis a Super Bowl in his farewell tour, by the way.
oh man, dude, real talk though. All right, as always, Kyle will post a list in the comments below. Let us know who you think is better and why it's me. We would love to know why it's me. So
This one's been the closest one so far. This one might be. This one is
I
a lot
agree.
closer.
This one's very close.
I think if I didn't think Peyton Manning was a choke artist, I would have went Peyton Manning just for the throwdown.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason he has like what, one ring,
2.
two. He got one in Denver.
And one of them, yeah, he was limped by Von Miller to the. Oh, I should have picked. I could have picked Von Miller. He'd have been a fantastic pick.
That would have been a good pick.
Super Bowl MVP, by the way.
Would have been a good pick.
Would have been a good pick. That's okay though. Nobody's gonna be upset. I got Lawrence Taylor for Christ's sake.
No, I agree. I agree.
So we're gonna do stuff a little bit more fantasy football style for these last few questions, right?
Right.
We're gonna talk about big winners, big losers. Zach, who are your big winners and big losers for this year? Who do you think's gonna pop off? Who do you think's gonna fall flat? What are you feeling?
So this year in fantasy football, Marvin Harrison Jr. had like a pretty good season last year. This year's his year.
Okay,
I'm telling
I don't
you,
hate that.
this year's his year. Marvin Harrison Jr. This year's his year. I feel it in my jellies.
Big losers then.
Big losers. You talk about big winners. I'm gonna think about big losers for a second.
I think big winner is probably going to be Brian Thomas Jr. the guy that's number one out in Jacksonville. He had a
Okay.
very good season last year,
Okay.
and still has Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball.
Yep.
I think he's only going to get better. I'm very, very excited to see Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
um, playing the rest of this year. And the only reason I know he did well, I had him on my fantasy team in another league, and he absolutely backpacked me
Okay.
for half the year.
Okay. I'm here for that. When I go to Big Loser, we're gonna have to talk in like terms of like their seasons.
That's fine.
Big Loser, Derrick Henry this year.
Derrick Henry. I
Yeah.
don't hate that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like it's gotta come apart at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like it's got to. And so
Well,
I think Derrick Henry is gonna have a fine season by all fantasy standards. But
just not by King Henry standards.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He's going to have 1,400 yards instead of 1,800 yards this year.
Exactly.
I'd still pick him up in fantasy.
100%. If you told me he was going to rush for 1,000 yards right now, throw his ass on my team. I don't care.
Yeah, no, 100%. Big losers this year, man. Who am I not that high on? You know what? I'm thinking fantasy wise.
Yeah, hit me.
Probably Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Just because he doesn't have any kind of presence really throwing him the ball. I think he's got a rookie quarterback. I think.
I mean, it's JJ McCarthy this year.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy.
From
I
Michigan.
don't. I think he'll have kind of like what you said. I don't think he's going to have a bad year. I think
Sure.
he's just going to have a dip in what we expect out of Jay Jettos, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right. Who is your pick for a breakout player this year?
Breakout player this year?
Breakout player comes out of fucking nowhere. Maybe not nowhere, but like
Comes
guy
out
who
of-
went from whatever and just lights it up.
So like the person that stands out to me the most that I think is like genuinely going to have like a really really solid year this year like as a fantasy player is I never remember his name. The guy in Atlanta that I drafted last year.
Drake London.
Drake London. I just like every year has felt like it could be his year, and I know they still have Bijan and I know they got Kyle Pitts, so there's a lot of sharing going on in that team, but I'm telling you I'm taking Drake London to have a big year.
And Drake London's not bad.
No,
right?
not by
he's
any
always
means.
performed okay.
I'm gonna draft him again. I'm probably gonna keep his ass, but that's another story for another time.
That's that tells you how like fantasy normally goes.
But I'm serious. I think Drake London. Big year.
I think you're probably higher on him than I am, but I don't hate that.
No, you're only talking to the guy who finished 10th in the league last year, so
we only have 10 people in the league for those of you who are curious. Now I'm trying to think big breakout players, right? I want to lean Xavier Worthy, that guy that Kansas City has that runs like the 4.22 or whatever.
Yeah.
40 guy grease lightning. I mean, I had him on my fantasy team. He didn't perform the first half of the year. He got a little more comfortable towards the back half.
We got injured, didn't he? Last year?
No, that's Rashid Rice. Rashid Rice.
Okay.
And so he picked up because Rashid Rice got hurt. He picked up some.
Yep.
But Kansas City was just not. They were very weird feeling last year, right?
Sure.
Where that felt like they got a lot of calls in their favor. I know the stats say they didn't. It feels like they got a lot of nonsense.
It always feels that
favor.
way.
And fuck him. So yeah, I think Xavier Worthy is probably. I mean, a guy with that much speed who's shown he's got the talent. I would be surprised if he didn't have a breakout year.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it.
All right, we got 2 more questions. You ready?
Yeah, hit me, dude. Let's go.
How are you going to finish in fantasy this year?
How am I going to finish in fantasy this year? This is my 3rd year in the league. For anybody who does not know, this is a league with like me, Kyle, our buddy Patrick, and our Kyle's brother, my cousin Ben, and a bunch of like their group of friends that like I have the Facebook chat muted. I have no shame.
I also have it muted. They talk a lot.
I came in 3rd the first year, and then I came in 10th last year. I had a very different season this year. I'm gonna guess that I'm calling it a solid 4th this year.
Okay, top 4 finish.
Yeah, we're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna have some traction in the playoffs, but then it's all gonna fall apart. Phillips Bowl, it all falls apart. Phillips Bowl. I'm
Phillips
calling
Bowl.
it.
Phillips Bowl.
Yep.
I'm so excited for fantasy this year because I'm always excited. I took over somebody's team 1 year, and that was like my first year. So I've technically been in the league for 5 years. One of them I took over somebody's dog shit team.
Yep.
Second year, I had an amazing draft. It was the year that Cooper Cup had the Triple Crown. I picked him up, and I scorched the fucking planet. I went like 10-4 in the regular season and beat the dog piss out of everybody in the playoffs and won a championship. And I've been like the definition of mediocre ever since. Where like I just get into the playoffs or I just miss.
Sure.
So I'm going to vote for a scorched earth and lose in the finals and get second place.
All right, we're going for the second place. Phillips Bowl.
Phillips Bowl. Hopefully, I get to lose to you or Ben.
I was like, God,
nice.
just let it be me. Fuck, get Ben out of here. He's had enough time
I'd
with the trophy.
rather it be you because every time I play Ben's team, I've played Ben's team twice in the playoffs.
He fucking juices you.
He shits the bed. His team, me and Ben, I beat my older brother for the in the Super Bowl for our fantasy championship, y'all. For the time that I scorched earth, and like literally within like I don't know, probably like 3:00 on Sunday, my team had scored 110 points, and his team projection went down to like 90 or 80, and I was getting GGs, and people were texting me already. What's the phone number to send the money to? I was like, guys, I was like, it's 3:30, and then it ended up being like 80 to like 180 or 170 or something like that.
God, that's crazy.
And I'm like, I was like, listen, I know y'all are right, but like I'm very superstitious when it comes to sports. So I was like, y'all just trying to get me to lose.
Oh, 100%.
And I don't appreciate it. But like, I got paid by like 3 people before like 6:00 before the night games.
I was like, yeah, before we'd even seen like the last half of the games.
Before we even seen, I think it was just the night games. I think
so. Like what, 2 games left, something like that.
Games, yeah, there was like 2 or 3 games left, something like that.
Sure. I mean, you never know though. You never fucking know though.
You never. I'm so superstitious when it comes to sports, dude. Every time I turn on the TV and my team is winning, I immediately turn the TV back off because me watching obviously has an impact on how my team's doing.
Clearly,
so I
it's
turn
your
the TV
fault.
back off.
It's your fault.
Clearly, it's my fault. And then if I turn it off and they start losing again, I have to turn it back on and turn it back off.
Yep.
To reset the curse
every time.
And hope that negates it. And then if it doesn't, I've just fucked them because I've set eyes on them. So it's better the less I follow. I sound really crazy, and I don't even give a fuck.
It's okay. That's what the podcast is for. Get it all out. Let me get it all out.
No, that's it. I've done enough to sound.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Last question. Hot takes.
Hot takes?
Yeah.
This is probably not too much of a hot take, but the NFL doesn't give a shit about its players. Like,
that's definitely not a hot take.
And when I say that, I mean I'm talking 0 fucks. Like, they don't care at all. And like, it's gonna take something fucking awful happening and the NFL losing billions for something to change.
Yeah. That's not a hot take though. I think that's probably.
It's probably a pretty lukewarm. Everybody feels this way take, but yeah, I mean, not to sound too much like crazy, but the NFL needs to fucking get it together.
Yeah, for sure. Whew. No, I gotta sit here and think of a hot take. Huh? Oh, thank you, baby. I appreciate that. She just told me I was hot.
Nice. You love to see it.
I'm sitting here. I'm sweating my ass off because it's North Carolina in the middle of the summer.
No, hey, we take the compliments.
No, we take it and we take the W's.
Exactly.
Comes to hot takes. You know what? I'll give one that's that a lot of people. I just said football's overrated. You know what? That's partially true.
Valid.
You know what? Russell Wilson's a pretty good quarterback.
Now or of all time?
Now.
Okay, fair.
He had one bad year at Denver because of the Let's Ride meme.
Yep.
He didn't have the best year in the world last year, or even his last year in Denver. I think he did decent. He was very efficient. He wasn't a gunslinger. He wasn't anything amazing, but he did decent. He did well enough. Russell Wilson's much better than he's given credit for.
Yeah, I don't hate that, honestly. And I think if people think that's like a crazy hot take, I think people are idiots.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add before we finish off?
No, man, I'm good, dude. I'm good, brother.
Beautiful. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what else you guys want to see in the comments below. And let us know whose roster is better. I'm really curious to see what everybody thinks about that.
Sounds good.
Good night, everybody.